guys, it's Thomas here, and it is finally time to kick off the HighTech planet build. That way, you guys can see the differences between setting up a low-tech system and how that turns out, and a high-tech system and how that's going to turn out. Obviously, there's things to consider like budget and all that good stuff, but I think it's really important to see a side-by-side so you know what your ultimate goal with your aquarium is going to be, because not everybody's going to want to hold back on those pretty red plants, and in order to do that, a high-tech system is really the way to go. If you're joining us on this series and you didn't see our low-tech build, a lot of the low-tech series also touches on the absolute basics of what you need to know in terms of keeping plants alive, like the types of substrate, what kind of lighting is the best type in terms of a minimum for plants, and ultimately what you need to keep plants happy on the most basic level. So check that series out first if you're brand new to plants. You'll learn a few things. And then join us back here so you can see us set this thing up and do a bunch of fun stuff with it, with some equipments that are not on the other build, because this is low tech, this is the high tech. This is more tech. Tech elevation. The biggest difference between a low-tech tank and a high-tech tank is the fact that we are introducing pressurized CO2. But with that pressurized CO2, which is going to help supercharge the growth of your plants by allowing them to photosynthesize more, you also have to increase the amount of lighting and fertilization that those plants get. Otherwise, they simply won't be able to use that extra CO2 that you're providing them. Ultimately, this means your high-tech tank is capable of supporting plants with higher light requirements so that they have that nice blush to their foliage, whether it's pink or red or purple. It also means you can get really great explosive growth out of carpeting plants like dwarf baby tears that would otherwise be quite difficult to keep, as long as you're giving them everything they need. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you'll have the right tools to do it. So obviously for this build, we're going to be doing some pressurized CO2, we're going to do high intensity lighting, and of course we're going to get some fertilizers in there as well. But I also kind of want to really focus on trying to keep the display as clean looking on the inside as possible. So we're going to be using some special finishings and equipment to do that, which I'll introduce to you a little bit later on in the series. I think at the beginning, we're going to start with the glass here, since without the glass, we don't have a tank at all. So let's talk a little bit about that glass. So for the tank itself, I am using an identical aquarium to the low-tech build. It is a Seapora Crystal 17-gallon tank. It's made with high-clarity glass. That way there's no greenish distortion in color that you would normally get from standard glass. So if we put nice brightly colored red or pink or purple plants in there, we're getting the best representation of the color that those plants actually have. This tank also has the black leveling mat, just like the other one. I wanted to keep the tank size identical because I figured it's the best way to compare the low-tech and high-tech planet tank. I think ultimately it's a great decision. The reason I kind of stuck with these smaller aquariums, I know some of you wanted me to go larger, is because these are just a very comfortable size for most people's homes, whether they're an apartment or a larger house, and also for offices. So this is kind of an achievable goal for most people, and I thought that was a really important thing for these build series, because I want to show you guys how to do it. And I want you to go and do it. So I figure that's a good way to go and do it. But I got to make sure this thing's level, so I'm going to go grab a level. Hiya! All right. And the tank is level, which is brilliant. I actually already leveled it front to back. It wasn't quite level front to back, so I had to add some shims under the legs at the back, but no big deal. Now it is level, and we're going to have a level tank when we fill it up, which is kind of super important. So as I mentioned in the low-tech series, the tanks are right across from a very bright window. Gets a lot of direct sunlight during the day, but normally when we're filming in here, the windows are open. Today, we needed to close them. But in general, I leave the blinds closed because I don't want a ton of algae fueling sunlight to be pounding these tanks during the day. Now, I will mention that once this high-tech tank is established and it's got a lot of plants and the CO2 is running, that light's going to be a lot less of an issue because the plants are going to be working so fast to photosynthesize. Algae still shouldn't take hold, but regardless of that, I'm going to keep it closed just to prevent any unwanted algae from popping up potentially. I'm really excited to set up this HighTech tank right next to my LowTech tank. It's gonna be a fun little comparison. Next episode, we're gonna be talking about filtration, what I'm throwing on here for a filter. I'm sure some of you might know already. You know me pretty well. I've also got a heater picked up for the tank and some other fun hardware that's going to help keep that really slick and clean look I was talking about earlier nailed right down, because I want this to be very pretty at the end of the day. Just gorgeous. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those down in the comment section below or reach out to us on social media like Facebook. If you want to see some fun, beautiful photos of aquatic stuff, check out our Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're going to be building this tank and a whole bunch of others real soon. And I don't want you guys to miss it. It's a lot of fun to do it with you, so please come along for the ride. And as always, keep on a-tanking, with a weird intonation that I don't normally use. Is an aquarium, that doesn't make much grammar sense. I am super excited to start this build and finally get things going on this HighTech tank. I'm sure you guys are stoked right along with me. Keep on tanking. Okay, I give up.